Hey everybody, and welcome back to another lecture with Coding with Roby. And in this lecture, we're going to create our register.html page. Now the first thing we need to do is right-click on templates and create a new HTML file called register.html. And inside here, I'm going to actually just copy and paste all the code from login into register. A lot of the code is going to be the exact same as we're just going to be creating a bigger form. Now the first thing we want to do is inside our register.html file, our card header says login. Let's change this to register. And now one thing we want to do here is everything inside this form, let's delete for right now. This is where it gets slightly different from the login page. So we already have everything at the top, which is the nav bar and some of the header information. We have the scripts, and we already have our div with our container, our card header, and now we're just dealing with the form inside the card body. At the bottom, we also see card footer, which brings us to register. Let's just change that and make it say, already have an account. And now inside here, we're going to use a form row, which allows us to put two different types of information on a single horizontal plane. So let's say div class equals form row. And inside here, we're going to say div class form group and then call medium 6. And inside here, let's create a label, which is going to be email. And then an input type of email with class form control and name email. Let's also now make another div right under the email, which is going to be username. And we're going to follow a lot of the same stuff. So div class equals form group, column medium 6, label of username, with an input of type text, class form control, and name username. And then under this form row, let's copy and paste this form row and place it right underneath the original form row. Here, we're going to change the label to first name, type from email to text, class will remain form control, but the name instead of email will be first name. Now the same thing with here, but we'll change everything to last name. All right, and now under this form row, we're going to create another div, which is going to be a form group. With a label of password, with an input type password, class form control, name password, and is required. And we actually want to go ahead and make all these other inputs required as well. And now let's copy and paste this form group of password and paste it right underneath password. But this time we're going to call this verify password with type password, class form control, but this time it's going to be password 2 and also required. Then right before the form, let's create a button of type submit with class button primary, and sign in. All right, let's save the file. Go back to our todos.py file and change login to register. Make sure our application server is running. And now let's go back to our web application and refresh the page. And it looks like we have all of the right fields of email, username, first name, last name, password, and verify password, but these look kind of messed up. So if we go back to our code, we can see that this is using form group while this username is using form control. So inside our form row, where we have our email, which is form group, we want to change our username to also use form group instead of form control. The same thing's happening with last name. So first name is using form group, last name is using form control. Let's change this to form group. Save the file, and let's go back to our browser and refresh the page, and we can see that everything was fixed. We have our register card with our email, username, first name, last name, password, verify password, a sign in button, and an already have an account button that'll redirect us back to the login page. And this wraps up creating all of the static HTML from scratch, so we can now start enhancing all of our HTML pages with dynamic data from our FastAPI applications. And with that, I will see you in the next video.